Nicolette Glazer is an experienced immigration attorney from Los Angeles. Today we're going to discuss the immigration policies under the Trump administration. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the Trump's travel ban. Why is it so important for him?
Well, it appears that it's his way of keeping his promises to the people who voted to him. He made it a big deal on the campaign trail, and he wanted to do it right away, and he did it right away.
But a lot of countries in the European Union have some serious issues with their refugees. Does this justify his travel ban?
No, it should not. What happens in Europe is not what we need to take into consideration.
But it seems that he's trying to protect America from this.
Correct. But I think what he needs to do is assess what we have in this country, what the laws of these countries are, what the Constitution said, and then factor in all this to fashion a remedy to the extent that there is a problem.
But let's remind to our viewers which particular countries are included in this ban.
Well, there were two bans. The first ban had 7 countries. Subsequently, because of legal actions, Iraq was taken out. So currently we have 6 countries, and those 6 countries were determined by the prior administration and by the Trump administration as being directly linked to terrorism or sponsoring terrorism or harboring terrorism.
Does this list include Saudi Arabia?
No.
Well, there are some reports also that this country is sponsoring terrorism.
Correct, and the administration...
9/11 also
very true.
Is another example.
The response from the administration appears to be, well, we put the countries that we do not get cooperation from. So we cannot trust the governments of those countries. We trust Saudi Arabia, so we're not going to put them into the ban.
What will be the effect of the wall on the border with Mexico?
Well, in my opinion, just spending money, taxpayers' money, wasting the money, and very little result will occur from that.
So the safety of America, the undocumented immigrants from Mexico will not be reduced?
I don't think so.
Obama used to be called the deporter-in-chief. How is Trump doing in this area?
Well, he's trying to outdo Obama. The statistical data is clear. During Obama's administration and up until 2015, he deported more than 2.5 million people. So, so far, Obama is on par with deportation. What Trump is doing is he has significantly ramped up arrests. So immigration's arrests in the first 6 months of this administration have been way up.
Do you see any difference between Trump, the TV reality star, and Trump, the president?
Well, I haven't watched ever his Apprentice show, so I don't know what he did on the show. But it appears that he's trying to turn the office of the president
into... He used to fire a lot of people.
Well, it seems like
that he keeps on doing that while being a president.
He seems to be doing that. He seems to be screaming at political leaders, at the media. He's picking fights. So it is a spectacle, more than it is just conducting the business of the government.
Trump reversed most of Obama's executive orders on immigration. How will this impact the immigrants?
This is true. Trump rescinded all executive orders of Obama regarding immigration with the exception of DACA. That fact was felt immediately. Currently, there is no priority, meaning there are no certain people who are more deserving to stay regardless of the status. Currently, the position of the administration is anybody who came here illegally or violated its status is in violation of the immigration law and is subject to enforcement and deportation.
Trump announced a new policy regarding Cuba. How will this impact Americans willing to travel to this country?
We don't know yet. The fanfare, the spectacle was great. There are big pronouncements that there will be a big changes. However, up to the moment, nothing has changed. Until there are regulations or
currently Americans can travel to Cuba.
Absolutely. From my understanding is nothing has changed. All the business deals, such as airline, tour agency, cruise ship, all those deals are intact. And from what I understand, there was never an intent to entirely block any business or travel. What we expect will happen is that the person-to-person travel will be eliminated at some point.
So Trump is trying to gain some leverage to renegotiate the deal with Cuba?
Perhaps. It appears to be an effort to reduce the flow of money to the regime. How that's going to happen, it's anybody's guess, considering that we have a totalitarian state, so anything ultimately end up probably in the pockets of the military, but that's at least the pronouncement.
Do you see any changes in the current behavior of law enforcement representatives and immigration officers?
Yes, big difference. I believe the moment that Trump took power, he sent a clear message to the people who he views as the most important portion of his immigration policy, that he's behind them and that they have his full support to enforce the law. They took that message as they're there to arrest and deport people.
They are more proactive and more aggressive.
Yes, they are.
There are still 12 million undocumented immigrants in this country. What would be your message for these people at this challenging time?
Well, they have to realize, and they already have, that if they are undocumented, they are a target of this administration. I don't believe that it's possible for them to round up 12 million people or deport 12 million people, but that's beyond the point. The process is going to be anybody who comes into contact with an immigration officer is likely to be placed in removal proceeding. If somebody has already a order of deportation, even if it's a very old one, that order of deportation is immediately executable, meaning the person can be picked up, arrested, and deported.
So it's a good idea for them to be knowledgeable of all the available options for them.
It is very important that people know their options. It is important that people have their cases evaluated. And most importantly, people need to know what their rights are.
Do you expect any immigration reform soon?
Honestly, I don't think so. I do believe that there will be efforts to amend the immigration law. What remains to be seen is whether there will be enough of political will and consensus to actually implement something.
Do you expect something happening this year?
Well, it's already July, so probably no. However, we never know. I think if they hit a roadblock with a tax reform, with Obamacare repeal, immigration is always an easy way to kind of get some political activation and assets, so you never know.
Thank you very much, Nicolette.
It was a pleasure being here.